Hi, welcome back to Ajita Nathaki. This is a channel related to spiritual teachings and hopefully lessons that you can find useful in your everyday life. Today I'm going to talk about energy. Not so much energy channeling, but some of the things that one can learn and apply from the practice of energy channeling. So, when I went to my first official training, I was sitting there. By the way, I didn't know that I was going to a training, and it was a bit of a surprise to me. My background is in mathematics and physics and some other things. So being there was a little odd to me. Just being there were a bunch of and I don't mean this as an insult, just so you can visualize this bunch of tree-hugging hippies, with prayer beads and whatnot. It was a little odd to me then. Now I'm much more comfortable with it. So there I was doing the exercises, and I had gotten my attunement, and I was practicing the energy channeling. The trainer was coming around to each person and checking to see for the energy flow. And he came in front of me, and I was standing there with my hands like this in front of I think a bottle of water, and I just felt so stupid just holding my hands up. So the guy comes over and he says, "No, you're not doing it." And of course, you want to defend yourself, and you say, "Well, yeah, I am. Look, I'm right here." And he goes, "No, you're not intending it. You have to use your mind to intend." And I go, "Okay, all right." So if I have a gift, is mind control. I can control my mind quite easily. So I held the thought. Okay, I'm intending this to go out. And as soon as I had that thought in my head, I'm talking in the split second that I did it, he says, "Yes," like that. And I thought, okay, so there's something to this. Now, at the moment, I could not feel the energy flow. Somehow, though, he had acknowledged that something was happening, and he could feel it, right? There was another person who was helping out, and when it was her turn with me, something similar kind of happened, although by then I was already channeling more, but she helped me increase it a little bit, and she acknowledged it in that moment. She could feel it, okay? So the different energy types that I can channel, most of them feel unique. There's particular a sparkle to some, a particular fire feeling to others. Some have a shape associated with them, and you can clearly feel these things if you're trained and attuned for that purpose. Now, this is not necessarily going to be everybody's experience, so why am I bringing it up? Well, in doing energy channeling for the purpose of healing somebody physically, you will push out the energy that is necessary to create the experience that the person is going through. So either it's some kind of injury, or a torn ligament, or I don't know, a cut, a strained muscle, whatever the case may be. That requires something to make it come about. It necessarily must have some kind of energy for it to be experienced. Okay? So when you're doing the energy channeling, you will push out that energy which creates that experience, which for most of us, when we're feeling some kind of injury or discomfort, it's a negative feeling. Okay? And so we associate something bad with the word negative. However, I will posit this for you to consider. It's just energy, and it's neither good nor bad. All right, but I will still use the word negative to explain sort of what I mean. When you're channeling healing energy to the individual, to that part of the body, what you're doing is you're redirecting divine energy to heal, right? So most of us can conceive that as being a positive thing. So for the sake of maintaining a naming convention, I'm going to say that that's positive energy, okay? And when the positive energy is received, it pushes out the negative energy that was there, that was causing that experience, right? When that happens, you can feel it because the energy radiates out in all directions like a light bulb, right? Or light from a light bulb. And so when you feel that, rather when the energy is coming out, you can feel it. It feels like little tiny pinpricks, right? And so it's unpleasant. So sometimes I just naturally, instinctively react and I pull my hand away, and then I discard the energy and I move on to whatever I'm doing energetically. Okay, and whenever I'm in a open space with lots of people, I will also be emanating energy. I can control active channeling, but the emanation is constant. It always flows out, right? So if I'm in a restaurant, chances are there's going to be somebody in there with some kind of an injury, stress, depression, something which exhibits itself physically in the body. And invariably, I'm going to get a little pinprick, spark, whatever, and then I have to discard it. And I'm so used to it, it's almost like second nature to me. I don't even cognitively recognize it. I'm just doing this, right? So one time I was sitting at a lunch meeting with a colleague, and he noticed that I was doing this. That particular lunch meeting, we were surrounded almost by elderly individuals who tend to have more physical ailments. It's just my experience from having been in different places. Anyway, not a criticism, it just happens to be my experience. So when I was sitting there and he could tell that I was getting sparked left and right, and he said to me, I don't understand why you would be okay with feeling all of that. And my answer was this. Well, I gave him a different answer. I'm going to give you a different anecdote so that you can kind of see it a little bit more clearly, I hope. Imagine that you're walking along a prairie. You feel the sun, you feel the wind. Instead of like a heated person, it's just a nice sunny day. It's cool. You're enjoying a walk, and you're walking along. There's some small bushes here and there. You're walking along, and then you feel as you're walking past a bush that something brushes up against your leg, and you feel no pain, no nothing. You move on. You take a few more steps, and then you fall over dead. If we don't feel pain, we will not be aware that we were just bitten by a venomous snake. And there are many that are silent. So if you're not looking and actively searching for them, they may run across your path, bite you, and if you're not feeling pain, you would not be aware. So in that particular case, feeling the pain is a positive thing because it makes you aware that something is wrong, right? You need to bring attention to that situation. Medical care, emergency services, whatever it is, but you need to do something in response to it. And the pain is letting you know it needs to be now, it needs to be immediate. Now you can't wait for it. So when we experience pain, it's a way for us to be aware that we need to address something. Something is not correct, and it can and should be remedied, right? You should take active steps to do that. So how does that impact what I'm talking about in energy channeling? When I channel, and if I feel that negative energy sparkle coming back, and I feel the pain and I get rid of it, my body doesn't absorb it. However, it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm the only one who gets that energy. Everybody in the restaurant, everybody in that environment is picking up that negative energy. So whenever you are around at Disneyland or some other public space, the supermarket, whatever, open space, and there are lots of people, chances are somebody there has depression. Chances are somebody there has some kind of an injury, a headache, stress, something physical. And we are constantly being bombarded by that kind of energy, and like I said, it goes out in all directions, right? If you're not aware of it, your body is absorbing it. And if you continue to absorb it and you do nothing about it, because you're not aware that it's there, that it's happening, then it will necessarily present itself in some kind of physical experience later on when enough of that energy accumulates, right? And then you get some kind of disease or some other major situation. And you may think that I'm just perhaps being a little alarmist, but I'm actually trying to give you a real scenario. A friend of mine who used to, as a profession, as his way of making a living, he would channel to heal others, and he would give spiritual counseling. And so he did a lot of treatment of folks with some hands-on healing. I don't know if it was that he failed to discard the negative energy whenever he received it. But what ended up happening was that he came down with a very serious case of cancer. And in short time, he passed away. I still remember him. I could name him, but that the point is not that. I just want to express to you that it's a real thing. We're all affected by it. And the difference is that those of us who channel energy, we can feel it and we can discard it. Okay? So why am I sharing it with you? If you're not trained in energy channeling, if you're not aware that those energies which cause discomfort, pain, illness, if you're constantly surrounded by it and affected by it and you can't feel it, what can you do about it? Well, what you can do is ground yourself periodically, maybe once a day, maybe at the end of the day, maybe before walking into the house. You can just do a little routine where you ground yourself. And it could be just walking along the grass with your bare feet, or you don't necessarily have to take off your shoes, but the idea is to mentally ground yourself, to center yourself, to connect yourself back to Mother Earth, and visualize, if you can, all that negative energy flowing out of your body and being received by Mother Earth so that she can process it, recycle it, and convert it into something new, something good for the planet. And that's one of Mother Earth's functions. She does that naturally. So that little exercise, that routine of grounding yourself, not that I do this a lot, but I have hugged trees. So earlier I was talking about tree huggers. I like trees, and I planted many trees. So I like gardening for that reason, and it's a way of grounding myself, to connecting myself to the planet, to nature. So just find a little routine where you can ground yourself, where you can reconnect with the Creator, and just dump out all that negativity, and just refresh and heal the body and heal yourself. All it takes is your awareness and your intention to do so. You don't necessarily have to be touching ground or grass or whatever. Those things help. It's all in the mind. It's in your intention. All right. So a little tip for dealing with the everyday stresses of the world and keeping yourself healthy and safe. Take care. Thank you very much for being here.